Thank you for tuning in to the Austin All Day Podcast. I'm Jason Powers, and we are here with Chef Leanne Valenti and Leah Richardson from Bento Picnic. You guys sit back, grab a drink, and check it out. Chef Leanne, owner of Bento Picnic, and Leah, we are here. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So tell me about Bento Picnic.
At Bento Picnic, we make healthy meals that are inspired by Japanese philosophy, using 5 colors, 5 tastes, and 5 cooking techniques in every meal, which is something that I found is like a surefire way to make sure that it's not only a balanced, healthy meal, but also really satisfying and delicious.
The colors is key.
The colors, the taste, and the cooking techniques. Like when you get all those elements in there.
Right. So healthy food is kind of the priority over there.
Yeah, well, healthy and delicious. Like you can't have one without the other, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we're not going to serve up any cardboard.
Right. And
We don't want it to taste too healthy without the flavor, you know?
Yes, and I've tried your food and it's absolutely delicious. What's your role over at Bento Picnic?
I'm the kitchen manager.
Kitchen
Extraordinaire.
manager. Running the show in the kitchen. And how is the crew over there? You guys got a solid staff?
Our crew is great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a really strong team. We have a lot of folks who have been there for over a year even, which I feel like in restaurant time, that's like...
Right. It's like dog years, right?
Yeah, it's like 10 years.
Sure.
So we're lucky to have some really loyal hard workers.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys are on the east side there. How have you dealt with like the boom over there, the constant growth?
We're fortunate for it. Yeah.
So you guys get a lot of traffic through
A
there.
lot of traffic, especially at lunchtime.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Now you guys are open in the evenings as well, or?
After Labor Day, we'll be open again in the evenings. We took, during summer, we did summer hours.
Yes.
Where we were only open for lunch. Did you know Leah got married?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Leah got married, so she took some time off, and my
Congratulations.
dad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Newlywed.
Yes,
Newlywed.
that's right.
Leah Richardson.
Richardson. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it was E. It started with an E. Your name?
Eshelman.
Eshelman. Richardson. And how are you adjusting to that?
It's been good.
Yeah?
Yeah, honestly, like because we both work restaurant hours and have jobs in the industry.
Is he a chef?
He is a front of house guy.
Okay.
He manages Lucy's Fried Chicken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which-
I know you
which-
know Lucy. You know the
Oh,
guys
yeah.
at Lucy's.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, he's over all 4 of the locations.
Oh,
He's-
I've met him.
He's an operations guy.
I met him.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly.
You could have him on the podcast together.
totally
Oh my
could.
gosh.
I told him about the podcast. Well,
Yeah, he
I told
knows about
Cy
it.
and
Yeah,
he was
and Angela,
really excited.
maybe?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Angela is she's like, no, they'll do that.
I'll talk her into it.
Do it.
I will.
Please.
Oh, yeah,
Twist
she's
her
awesome.
arm.
She's a close friend of mine.
She's great.
She's amazing.
She is great. Now Matt, he's working on the 620
Uh-huh.
Lucy's.
Out
He's
of the
planning
lake.
on coming here on like sometime in
Oh,
September.
perfect.
So, and Cy is great. Cy's his sister is I think she's attempting to get out of the industry, but they both cook. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, which I think is awesome too.
Yeah.
I think they should both get in here and do a brother-sister fight.
That would be great.
It would be, right?
That would
get
be
it on
super
the
entertaining.
Sure. So, 2015 Bento Picnic?
That's
Was that the
when-
brick and mortar?
2015, I started it on my own without any employees,
Okay.
and was just doing catering and meal delivery around town to people who ordered through the website.
Well,
So I didn't have a brick and mortar at that point.
So I got to ask, were you working out of a commissary then?
I was.
Yeah. So what prompted the idea for, Bento Picnic?
So I went to Japan right after culinary school. It was 2011.
Immediately after culinary
Yeah,
school?
I just literally like a couple days after I finished the program, I was at the Natural Epicurean. I went there, started in 2009 when it was at Casa de Luz. Do you know
Okay.
that spot?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So super like be plant-based, like
Right.
cooking for health, for healing and good health, and it's really rooted in a lot of Eastern philosophy. So it differs from the French,
Yeah.
focused culinary schools in that way.
Is that what? Okay. All right. And you're attracted to that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been interested in healthy living and supporting the people in my life by, providing for them in a way that I know is really gonna
Yeah.
make them happy, but also really give them a good foundation. And so finding delicious ways to feed people healthy food has been a focus of mine for a long time. And when I stumbled across, first really through a good friendship, Japanese homestyle cooking, I was like, oh, this is it. It's so much fun to approach that recipe and menu development through those 5 colors, 5 tastes, 5 cooking techniques, because it's allows for like endless combinations and a lot of creativity, but gives you just enough focus. It even helps you to accentuate things. Like you might think you're ready to eat because you have this put together meal. You got your steak, your potato, got a little, and you're like, oh, what could I put here that's green? Even a little parsley garnish, just to elevate it that much more. And you don't have to have it, but it makes it that much more enjoyable.
But definitely. And I've heard, isn't it like along the lines of like eat the colors of the rainbow, everything? Is that similar?
Yeah, well, there's all the phytonutrients that come along that are associated with different colors. And so even without getting overly encyclopedic, it's just a fun way, even for kids, anyone like can use all their senses to round out their plate. I did a little session at the Thinkery one, it was a couple summers ago, where the kids, they got more stickers the more colors they ate.
Like some incentive?
Yeah,
Sure.
Exactly. So
Nice.
maybe we could try something like that.
Yeah. We could do. She likes stickers too.
Yeah.
She likes to plow through them and just stick them on me and everything. So I'm curious, where are you guys from originally? We're born and raised.
I grew up nearby in Houston.
Okay. Leah?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, toward Philadelphia, but actually a little town called Lidditz. It's in Lancaster County, Amish country.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And how long have you been out in Austin?
I moved to Austin by way of Atlanta back in 2011. Good. Atlanta was great.
Yeah, 2011.
2011. So, yeah, it's been just over 8 years for me.
And you like Austin?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
And you met your husband here?
I did.
Okay.
I did. But once I changed my career I used to do healthcare IT. Once I changed to the culinary world, I was like, I'm too poor to move away. And I love Austin, so it all worked out,
Yeah, that's one thing about cooking, especially in Austin, when the price of living is going up and up. It's hard to, we say you need like 3 or 4 people to like rent a place.
Right. It's the price we pay to live in a cool city.
It is a cool city for reasons such as Bento Picnic. We talk about the East Side a lot on this podcast because I go over there and I'm just bombarded with where do I go? Because it's all like if you're going to get full somewhere, you better make it worthwhile.
That's right.
And there's so many options.
Yeah, it's blown up. I mean, it's booming over there. Every time I drive or walk over to like East 6th, I'm like, oh my gosh, where did these restaurants come from?
Yeah, they need to bring some out in this direction.
Yeah. Yeah, we could use a few more down south.
Yes, definitely. And you were in Houston, and what led you to get into culinary school, or culinary arts, rather?
So I moved here by way of New Orleans in 2005.
Okay.
And that was actually because of Hurricane Katrina. So I was part of that group of folks that got dispersed around the country.
Yeah.
And
that's rough, right?
it was just a really interesting time. I was 21, and so it was a very formative time for me to realize what's important, you know.
Right.
And
were you cooking at that time? Was that something you had already picked up?
I was going to school.
Yeah.
I was going to Tulane in New Orleans, and I was working as a personal trainer. So I was in health and fitness
Right.
and interested in food as an avid home cook.
Sure.
So I was cooking a lot, but I wasn't cooking professionally. And then in 2007, just a couple years later, is when I met a friend of mine, Nalco, who I didn't know, it would alter the course of my career, really meeting her, because we met and became really good friends volunteering at Johnson's Backyard Garden.
Nice.
And so we'd get paid in vegetables, and we would go back to her apartment and cook. And she's from this small town in about 2 hours south of Tokyo. And so she just had 1,000,001 amazing, delicious ideas for how to prepare all these vegetables.
Sure.
And I was like, young and eager, and
Yeah.
just kept it really inspired my curiosity. And that's what led me to do the culinary program, was
Sure.
to learn more. Yeah.
And did you get a lot out of the program?
Yeah, I got a lot, especially by way of the relationships that I formed when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah, and being around a group of people who were just as interested and curious about the matter, the topic, as I was.
Yeah, being, the involved with health. So you're a firm believer in, food, because a lot of people don't realize that it's not all the exercise. It's really more or less what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's what comes first?
It's the king and queen,
Yeah.
It's hard to separate them from each other, but I think health and like food and exercise are both really critical to good health overall.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And any school education for you as far as culinary arts?
Actually, I went to the Natural Epicurean as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Leanne was the director of student services. Is that right?
Yeah.
When I went through the program, she helped place me at my first restaurant job.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what was that?
It was at Olivia Restaurant,
Oh, yeah. Cool.
which is now closed, but the same owners as Lucy's Fried Chicken, actually.
Oh, is this the same? Nice.
Yeah, it was their first restaurant, and more of a fine dining, farm to table concept when that was still kind of new.
So sad that that's gone, but that you guys are connected, and you're married to somebody now from Lucy's.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and what did you do after that stint at Olivia?
After that, I actually went to Whole Foods, and I was
We
part
crossed past
of
the Whole Foods. Yeah.
Yes, and I know many of the people who've been on this podcast have
Yeah.
roots at Whole Foods.
Yeah. It's
all over Austin. Like, you can't go anywhere without.
Well, can you go
bumping
anywhere?
into someone.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah,
They're
it's
all
pretty
over the
funny.
place.
Yeah,
It's a college.
right.
Right. Yeah. I've heard Wheatsville is similar to that, and Kirby Lane, people who've worked there, because there's so many of them.
Yeah,
But it's great.
A cool
It's
little
good
network.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some good talent has come out of Whole Foods.
Yeah, for sure.
Have
a
you
lot
been
of
over
talented
to
chefs.
the Funkadelic with Mr.
Oh my
Michael White?
gosh, I love it.
All right.
One of my favorite spots.
Did you know Michael?
Yeah, I worked with Michael in catering,
Super cool guy.
and then he was actually my team leader for a minute. I
Yeah.
worked on the food truck a little bit under his leadership.
Yeah, that food. Yeah, he's incredible, right?
Yeah, he's a great guy. I'm so happy to see him doing so well over there.
Sure.
Yeah, their food is amazing.
It is. Yes,
I love it.
I've gone. I've only gone once. I was actually thinking about going tomorrow. So
Oh man, everything
see.
I've had has been outstanding.
definitely. And he's. Have you heard his little story about how he doesn't give out numbers? He gives out pictures of his family members.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is cool. So. And then at Whole Foods, and then am I guessing that you ended up at Bento Picnic?
Well, there was a couple stops in there. I had Whole Foods. I worked in several different departments there, and one of my favorite roles there was teaching cooking classes in the little cooking school at the ground level, like right by Bowie and West 6th, which is now their wellness center.
Yeah.
So I did that for a time, and then I took a job as a private chef for a while. And I did that for about a year, cooking for a family. And after that came to an end, it sort of lined up with the first time I tried Leanne's Bento.
Oh, okay.
And
Was the store open, the brick and mortar open at that time?
No.
Okay.
Just catering and the farmer's market you were doing at the time. And I tried it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. And I was
Struck a
like
chord.
I was like, ooh, I need to make something similar to this for the family that I'm working for. And I just found myself like thinking about it and like, ooh, when can I get another one of those? So I was like, the seed was planted.
Yeah, I've had
I
that
already
thought.
knew Leanne. We had a friendship, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just see if I can go stage in her kitchen and like learn a little bit, see what they're doing, have some fun working with other cooks. Because being a private chef was awesome, but very solitary.
I was going to ask how that was.
Yeah, I mean, I was a one-woman team, so I didn't have a ton of other cooks around me to like help inspire or even just,
Yeah, that can be rough, right?
yeah, chit chat with. Or so I was sort of hungry for that again, and I texted Leanne and was like, "Hey, any chance I can come by and work a shift or two for you?" And she offered me a job.
Sure.
Yeah, it was right around the time when she was planning on opening the brick and mortar. So
You were involved with
fortuitous.
that. Inevitably, you helped with that process.
Yeah, I came on board right before South by, which was in March, of course, and then we
Of
opened the shop.
2018.
2018.
Yeah, and then the shop opened in April, right?
Yeah, April 2018.
Yeah.
Time with me gets all jumbled. It feels like longer. But you guys have come a long way, I guess. Is what I mean, you guys have gone through some progressions in a good way, right?
Slowly and steadily, yeah.
Yeah, it's grown exponentially though. Like just ordering the food and the product that we use, the amount that we're ordering now and going through in a week's time versus what we were
Sure.
back then. It's pretty crazy. It's cool though.
So launching the brick and mortar, how was that? I mean, did you guys go through a bunch of hurdles? I mean, working with the city, were you okay?
It was pretty smooth. I had some really good advice.
There you go. What was it? Can you share it?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of how to navigate working with the city to get the
Okay.
permitting we needed. But one of the things that, we had some stars align for us, which I recognize is really fortunate. A case of beginner's luck, I guess, is that you asked if we were cooking in a commissary before we opened the brick and mortar, and the answer is yes. And it was the commissary that's located where our brick and mortar is now.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. Didn't even know that was a commissary prior.
Yeah, a little bitty commissary right there, and so the former owners of that, who we were renting from, starting back in 2015, they were officing in the front part of the building, which is now our retail, shop storefront.
Right.
And they outgrew their office, and so they let me know about a year before they were planning to move out, and so we were able to line everything up and
That's pretty
open
cool.
the shop in the very location where we already were.
So you think it would have gone as smoothly if that weren't the case?
Oh, heck no.
No. Yeah. That's really perfect, though.
Yeah. And so the work with the city, it was already set up and
Sure.
functioning, and we were already there, and they were already familiar with us. So the work with the city was really just to get the space, that front space, re-permitted from being an office administrative use to change of use to food sales.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. And I've seen it, I guess, slowly
Mm-hmm.
progress into something that looks very nice right now.
Oh, thank you. We're
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah. And I like where you guys are located because you're right across from Juice Land, and that's like the health corner,
Right.
right? You go grab a bento, and then go grab a juice. And
You got it.
get on your way. Mm-hmm. It's a good spot. And how do you like that location in general? I mean, I know that you can't really beat that scenario, but
Oh man, I love going there every day. Honestly,
Good,
it's
good.
one of those feelings of like, ooh, this is something that I manifested, and it's having a place. Well, it's a big responsibility to have a place, but it's also such a privilege, And I worked for so long without a space that I really appreciate.
yeah.
Having a physical location where people can come to us and where we can feed them the food we love and be able to socialize and connect more than I ever was able to before I had a physical location.
So the bento box, right? Is essentially what it is. They almost are like meal kits in a way, right? And it's really nice. I mean, is your fridge at home stacked with these?
Pretty much.
Because it's what everybody's doing. It's almost like a trend to even order meal preps. Do you actually have people who order them like that?
We do. Yeah, we have people who pick up 3 or 4 at a time so that they are ready for the week.
Yeah. And what's I don't know, what's some exciting stuff that's on there or that you've added that you guys like?
That new edamame salad's so good.
Oh,
I had
yeah,
it
that
for
is
lunch.
good.
I had the take on chicken noodle,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think
and it was
we gave you one of the chicken sobas.
okay.
Yeah.
Is that still on there? I
That's a
hope.
bestseller.
It's a good one.
Oh, it's the best. Okay, it was very good.
Yeah, it's a crowd pleaser for sure.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, people love our pickles. The pickles are special.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we try to use a lot of local ingredients where we can.
Okay, that's something I like to ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
And is
local
it
veggies when
JB
possible.
JBG, the JB Organics?
Yeah.
You order from there?
Yeah.
Anywhere else?
I've also been stopping by Eden East because it's, right in between. We have our spot on Cesar Chaves and our kiosk inside the Austin Bouldering Project on Springdale. So we're back and forth, driving past Eden East pretty regularly. And Sonia and David have taken over that property and continued to farm it even after Glenn and Paula closed down Springdale. So we're lucky that they're still there, still farming. And they've been growing these beautiful serpent cucumbers that
What's a serpent cucumber?
it's a Asian variety of cucumber that's actually really long and curls around the edges.
They're kind of
and-
scary.
Yeah, they don't have as many seeds. They're real mild. They're
So you're
great and a
pickling
very
those?
thin skin. We use them both as like a raw veggie crudité with our dip platters. We make a really delicious cucumber water.
Oh, yeah, the cucumber water. Like an agua fresca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we also had the cucumber salad.
Oh,
in the bento.
yeah. And then there was one of the special, because we rotate through veggies seasonally in our bento, and that was a summer special. Using those serpent cucumbers is basically like a sesame cucumber salad. So good.
Right.
Yeah.
So, is this the kind of food that you like too? I mean, I know this is kind of her vision, but you were all into it. You reached out to her. Is this what you have at home too? And like kind of
Yeah, definitely.
you got two ends of the spectrum with the Lucy's fried chicken. And
I know, right? I'm all over the board.
good balance for a cheat day, right?
I know. It's true. I even did a little bit of pastry for a while, and that was a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, when it's up to me and I'm cooking, it's usually light, kind of flavorful, fresh veggies. I love to incorporate that stuff. I don't have a ton of previous experience with Japanese flavors.
Sure.
So that's been really fun for me to learn. I feel like I take a little bit more of a slant toward like Mediterranean or even Italian when I cook at home.
Yeah.
But it's been a great learning experience for me. And yeah, this is definitely the food that I want to stock my fridge with.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I never get tired of our bento. We joke about it. We're like, we could eat this every day, and we do.
You know, I was reading this peach tortilla cookbook. I don't know if you saw that he released that.
Yeah.
And I was like, and you guys were on your way over, and I was like, that would be a good cookbook too, right? Do you have any cookbooks that have like influenced you, especially with this kind of, cuisine?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite authors, her name's Elizabeth Ando, and she wrote a cookbook called Washoku, which literally has two translations. One is harmony food, and the other one is our food. And so referring to how the Japanese refer to what their food culture is. And she has a really amazing way. It's a coffee table book, essentially, with gorgeous photos and really thorough recipes. But she has sort of an anthropological approach to Japanese cooking. And my friend Naoko, who I told you about, who, got me into Japanese cooking all those years ago, she will, sift through the recipes in Elizabeth's books. She has 7 books. One of them is Washoku, and she's got others too. But she'll sift through those recipes and be like, oh my gosh, I never knew that's why we do this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like a lot of
Comes back to more like a human level.
yeah, and a lot of the traditions are unspoken in a way. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But Elizabeth has a way of like peeling back the layers and really getting into the stories behind
Okay.
it, which is
Well,
cool.
I'm intrigued. I might check that out.
Yeah. And so both Leah and I are going to Japan this fall.
I mean, I was going to ask about your experience in Japan, and
Yeah.
that if that has influenced like the way, because it's different there. I don't know. I've not been, but I'm sure the way you set up Bento Picnic has some sort of aesthetics, or something about it. The atmosphere needs to be right Japanese-ish.
Yeah. Well, so one of the striking things going to Japan was realizing that they're really just as busy as we are, but they have good access to healthy, balanced meals. They also have, meals that are not healthy and balanced, but if they want to eat healthy, balanced, they have really good access to it.
Isn't it the unbalanced, unhealthy meals there are introduced from the Western culture? Yeah. So it's typically healthy food, right?
Yeah, at its core. And, so I actually got to, the first time I went to Japan, I got to not only meet Elizabeth Ando, but she welcomed me as a guest into her home.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah. And, just the circumstance of it was really, fortuitous, and she became like a godmother to me. And so we've been able to continue finding ways to work together even after I moved back to the States. And
so big influence.
Big influence. And in fact, she, when I got the idea, like formalized the idea to start Bento Picnic, she funded a session for me with her food stylist in San Francisco to help kind of solidify the look and feel of the meals we were offering.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, cool. You guys did a good job. It's got a good aesthetic, and it all looks good. And wow, how did that come to be? You're a fan of her book, but like you just go randomly meet her, or?
So yeah, it's an interesting story. I had signed up for, it was 2011. I'd signed up for a class. She teaches culinary classes.
Okay.
So anyone interested in her, in learning more about Japanese cooking, she's like the Julia Child of Japanese cuisine. She's been living over there since she was in her 20s. She's in her 60s now, and is just, such an amazing resource. English language. She has like the biggest body of English language cooking literature on Japanese cuisine. So anyone interested, she teaches classes throughout the year, and I of course was really interested, so I had signed up for a class of hers, and it just happened to be like a week after I signed up, the tsunami that led to the nuclear disaster happened. And so she reached out to me being like, hey, are you okay? First of all, wanted to see if your plans are shifting, if you're still going to be in the country and still want to do this class, in a month, but also just offer up myself as a resource to you to talk through, what your goals are for your career, what your options are. And it led to like a 3-hour phone call. She's like a really generous and thorough person who just gave me a ton of advice, not just career-wise, but, life in general and relationship. I was like, who is this lady? And then she invited me to come stay with her in Osaka. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Wow, so that's cool. So you took her up on it, obviously. Yeah. How long were you there? Did you say already?
Well, I was in Japan for like the first half of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I did end up moving back ultimately because I was going to stay there for a couple of years was the plan, but I did move back because of the nuclear concerns at the time. There was just a lot of uncertainty. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you picked up that cookbook?
I own it too.
You own it too?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any others that you'd suggest? Or I mean...
I love, one of my favorite cookbooks is called Plenty More. Mm-hmm. It's by Yodam Ottolenghi.
Okay, I thought I might have heard of that, but I don't think so. No.
He has a restaurant, or at least a couple restaurants in London, but I believe he's Israeli. But the pictures, I'm a pictures girl.
Yeah.
Like, I love looking at the pictures in these cookbooks, and it's mostly plant-based, and the pictures are just beautiful. He uses lots of herbs and citrus, and definitely one of my go-to cookbooks for inspiration.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Done proper, plants are, gorgeous, right? I mean, sorry, but the meat, right? It all looks the same.
I mean, meat's
Chicken's
delicious
white,
too.
right?
Don't get me wrong.
I was a
eat all the
vegetarian
things,
for years.
but
But
yeah,
now,
I see some of your vegan cookbooks over here.
oh, for a long time.
Yeah?
Long time.
I have a couple of those myself.
Yeah. Well, they're
Good ones.
About, I'd say, 10 years, and then it was a lot of just pescatarian,
Okay.
and then or just recently started eating meat.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Back to the dark side.
The dark side.
The delicious side, though.
I know. I said I've said it before, so I don't know on here. So if it's repetitive, but it was like opened a whole new world. Like you're just like, but you guys are probably catering to vegan and vegetarians.
Oh, a ton. Yeah.
Everybody, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and that was something that I realized that I didn't realize how limited my options were because I had lived like that for so long. Torchies, well, the avocado, right? The fried avocado, and it was so good. But now I can order whatever the heck I want. So, which is good and bad because you got to find a balance again, like eating everything in sight.
It's all about balance.
It is about balance. Any kind of like philosophies that you bring into the kitchen from like what you've learned over there, or like.
Well, it's a really personal philosophy is that I try not to waste or like create more waste than is necessary. I like to, make the best use of everything that I can. And that translates into a lot of, different practices that we have. And I'm just constantly looking for ways that we can be efficient with our time so that we're not also wasting, there's no wasted energy. There is this concept in Japanese culture called kancha, and it's showing appreciation by making the fullest use of what you have. And through that, like really showing your gratitude for it.
Without wasting, have you guys put like a lot of thought into like biodegradable containers? Is that the route you've taken?
Yeah, we use compostable containers for the takeout.
What do you know the brand you use? Is it?
We use World Centric.
Okay, are you happy with it and everything?
Yeah, good products for sure.
Is
even our forks, our spoons, our straws are compostable.
Okay, that's good. And you guys, do you work with that? I don't know the name of that company, but they have the pigs, right? Have you seen the black containers all around town?
Yeah. We actually work with
they?
Joe's Organics to do our composting.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about, where they.
Yeah, it's there's whatever the operation is. It's huge.
It seems pretty cool.
Yeah,
what they're doing.
I had gotten a sticker and whatnot. I should have put some more effort into learning about what they're doing. But I know it has something to do with feeding pigs, which is tricky. Because if you get the wrong person who's cutting things and they, put something in there that shouldn't be in there, then it's hard to manage that. So you get a pig eating, a piece of plastic eventually.
Right. It does require a little bit of managing and keeping an eye on that compost bin.
Right.
I pull gloves out of there every once in a while.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. I'm sure
I'm the compost Nazi.
Are you? Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, hey.
Someone's got to be.
Yeah, definitely. But that utilizing the product, right? That goes down to every little aspect of that. I mean, but that that's you're thinking like a chef, So.
Yeah, so that's the idea behind we use those beautiful cucumbers to do our fresh veggie crudité, and then of course that's best that day. And then if it doesn't get used that day for the crudité, then let's, pour pickle brine over it and make sure it, has similar longevities and can get utilized in that manner.
So This is your restaurant, right? This brick and mortar bento picnic. So the traditional ways of cooking that you might have learned or even learned in Japan, do you are you like a proponent for those and practicing those, or do you adopt like modern techniques without any issue? I mean, given we're not in Japan, or
Yeah, so I definitely use all the techniques at my disposal, depending on, what's going to give the
deliver.
best result.
Sure.
If you're talking really traditional Japan, like they don't usually have ovens even
Wow.
in most
So
households
it's all
in
over
Japan.
fire.
Yeah. And we of course do use ovens.
Right.
And we make good use of them. So,
Sure.
for example. Yeah.
says the cornbread.
Yeah. The cornbread was actually one of the first recipes that I developed for Bento Picnic, which seems funny. Like people are like, why am I ordering cornbread at a Japanese concept?
And why were they?
There's two main reasons why cornbread was one of the first things on the menu. One, my dear friend, Japanese friend who I was living with at the time, just loved cornbread.
Oh yeah.
And so we, basically eating all Japanese food at this house we were living in over off of Angelina, and cornbread like on a daily basis. So for me, they kind of like started to go together.
Yeah, cornbread's not hard to love, right?
And the second reason is when I first developed Bento Picnic, it was not a brick and mortar concept. It was all designed really to be able to travel and cater well, or serve as meal prep and last nicely in refrigeration for several days.
Yeah.
And so I was looking to develop recipes that all came out of refrigeration nicely. And this cornbread is actually really special because it's a combination of like a Southern cornbread recipe and an Italian recipe for using day-old polenta. So it doesn't get dry like normal cornbread. It retains a lot of the moisture. And we cook the cornmeal on the stovetop like polenta and then bake it into the muffin.
Okay.
So that's what makes it special, and people love it. And at this point, if I ever took it off the menu, there would be a riot. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. So what? I know that you this is your place, and you guys have like kind of unique hours. You're not just open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. What's a typical week look like for you guys? Like how many hours are you working in there?
We both work about 50 hours a week.
Okay.
And it's fortunate in that most of the times that we're in demand are working hours. We really cater to a lot of weekday lunches, meetings at offices, conferences, things that are happening during the day, during the week. We do a bit here and there, weekend catering, but because we're more in demand for that corporate clientele, we get to do things like take off Labor Day.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing.
Which is a great thing. And we're not there late at night, and yeah, it's pretty good in that way.
Yeah, good. And now that it wasn't a concept for a brick and mortar, but now it is. Any thoughts to kind of expand it?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a brick and mortar is a lot to manage, and we're taking it a day at a time.
Definitely. Well, there's a couple spots out here that you could set up shop. Okay. It'd be fine.
We could be
And-
like the Japanese version of Chipotle.
There you go.
There you go.
Chipotle, I had heard that they kind of like denied bringing in that Impossible Burger simply because it was not all natural. I guess I didn't realize Chipotle was all, into the natural ingredients and everything. But
I think it's a big part of what they do.
Sure. So will we see the Impossible Burger? Is that what it's called? I don't even know. Something like that, though.
I think that's
we
what
all
it's
know what I'm
called.
talking
I haven't
about.
tried it yet.
I haven't either. But
I've heard that it's like,
from what I understand, it's very processed, but it like there's beets involved. So when you cook it, it's supposed to like resemble a piece of meat that's bleeding. The blood's coming
right?
out.
Like creepily like meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like I've heard some vegans be like, I don't even want to eat something that looks that much like meat.
Right. Yeah. Well, it can start to, I mean, there's always been that question with the, the vegan meat or like faux meat that you have like a piece of chicken that's comes from a seitan or soy is a common one.
Right.
That people who aren't vegans will say, well, why don't you just eat, meat? You're like, well, because I don't eat meat and I'm eating this seitan that resembles meat. But meat's not a hard thing to just let go of. So, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for people who just like fry up some unhealthy fake chicken nuggets and eat them. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah. 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 Well, I like to say we aim to help everyone who comes through the shop keep the commitments that they've made to their health. So there's something for everybody on our menu. Definitely almost everything on the menu until you add chicken or fish
It's
or
veggie.
pork to it is vegan, and most of it gluten-free just by nature.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that I loved when I started really discovering Japanese cooking was that you can have something that doesn't have meat or, bread or even any, depending on what it is you're trying to eliminate from your diet, as long as you have 5 colors and 5 tastes and 5 cooking techniques still, it still feels really complete. And so we've been able to, really be a resource to people who are doing restrictive diets and are that are maybe not, that don't tend toward being the most flavorful food, and be able to serve them food that they really enjoy.
Sure.
And also we've been a resource to people who are on plant-based diets who really are just eating vegan junk food and actually help them get like all those phytonutrients back in their diet.
Right. And I think, the fake chicken nuggets qualifies as like vegan junk food. But
Yeah.
you can eat vegan junk food and be completely unhealthy and
Yeah.
still be a vegan.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just eat French fries all day and be a vegan.
Totally. Yeah.
So with the catering to like people with dietary restrictions, you get people coming in like saying they're on like a keto diet and they need help with that. Or what are the other ones? Or what are the popular?
Whole 30.
Whole 30. So do you guys
Grain
like?
free.
Yeah.
Even soy free. Like we're
soy-free.
a Japanese
That's probably
concept.
a smart
Soy
one.
is
Yeah, that's-
pretty essential to the Japanese diet, but
100%,
we're able
right?
to still accommodate that. We have several items on the menu that are soy free.
It's crazy. Like there was a gal who came in today and she was just blown away because she was like, I can't eat garlic and onion. Like there's people who come in with these like, more standard dietary requests. And then there's some people who are just like allergic to random stuff too, that, we try to be accommodating to everybody. And, the fact that she was able to talk to me, like the person who's developed the recipes and let her know, okay, well, there's a little bit of garlic powder on our roasted carrots. Do you want me to bring one for you to try? And if you don't like it, then we can put something else in its place. She was just like floored, She's like, wow, this is amazing.
The fact that you're catering to her like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So what did she say? She can't eat garlic and onion for her.
I didn't
Like
ask. I tend not to ask. I just,
Okay.
I'm going to help you keep the
'Cause that
commitments
sucks.
that you've made to your health, lady.
Yeah. Because garlic and onions are
Delicious.
essential, right? Especially for like Italian food, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So when you at home, I mean, I jokingly said, "Is that all in your fridge?" But like, do you guys have like favorite cuisines, like to just go home and like, what's your go-to to like make for the family or
I love tacos.
tacos? Yeah,
Tacos are solid.
yeah,
I love pizza.
pizza.
I
Yeah.
make pizza a little bit, but I order pizza a lot more than I make pizza.
So
to be honest.
I gotta ask where you order it from.
Oh my gosh. My favorites here in town,
So that's plural.
Home Slice and Via 313.
Okay, those are the heavy hitters.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to the Hunt brothers. We'll see them on here soon.
Oh, good.
Cool.
They're fun.
I've never met them, but I've heard that they have a pretty unique story, and I really hope that they get on here and tell me it.
Yeah.
So those are great. I haven't been to Home Slice.
What?
I know, but I'm going.
Jason.
I know.
Well, he was vegan.
Tonight.
It's okay.
Tonight, right?
But
Who
listen,
knows? It might happen tonight.
in addition to the pizza, their Italian sandwich is ridiculous.
I've never had it either.
I am okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I'm really intrigued because it's come up a few times. How is it on a like via
It's like an
313?
11. Oh, I thought you were going to say on a 1 to 10.
No, to compare the two side by side because I am obsessed with Via 313.
The pizza?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The pie's good at both of those places, but, Detroit style, totally different than New York style.
Yeah.
And
You just
you're
can't
a
beat those
Chicago guy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I know. But the deep dish is like, and that's what Chicago's known for. And I'm sorry I've turned my back on the Windy City here, and I don't do deep dish.
Do we have deep dish here?
No, and
Like, who makes a good deep dish?
in Chicago?
No,
or
here
here
in
I
Austin.
don't
Maybe
know.
this is like an open niche that needs to be filled.
But the thing is, deep dish is not like the thing you go like via 313. If you're hungry, you just order it all the time, right? Like like home slice of via 313. But like you can pick it up, you can eat it. But a deep dish is like you can't pick it up and eat it. It's a different thing. When I grew up, I was always heard that they rival each other, New York pizza and Chicago pizza. And the whole time I thought they were just talking about like a normal pie, just that the flavors were different. And I never realize they were talking about a deep dish until really when I was here. And I was like, oh, deep dish pizza's not that good. I was like, so New York wins. Sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. I mean, have you had a deep dish pizza?
I have
Okay, where at?
in Chicago.
Okay, Geno's or something?
I can't remember where it was.
Did they have
It
a
was
bunch
delicious.
of writing everywhere?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It must have been somewhere else.
That's like the place.
Is that the place?
You just go in and everybody scribbles their name over the scribbles, and the whole place is writing and Sharpies.
That's fun.
It is fun.
Maybe we could do that at Bento Picnic.
It's a great idea.
I don't know if that would stick with the traditions of Japan, right?
Yeah, that might get messy.
It's
We
true.
try to keep things clean, so
Sure. Yeah. No, those places do look messy. They're very like rustic.
Yeah.
So I always ask this. I don't know where you guys like to eat, but you've named two, which are great and they're solid. What about you?
man, I've been to Ramen Tatsuya a couple of the last times I've gone out to eat.
Taco was just on here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's not up yet. It'll be up on the 7th or something. I don't know. But
Okay.
he was super cool. But he
Yeah.
would talk more about Kumarita Tatsuya. Have you been there?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's right around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
good.
like right around the corner from those guys.
They're
That's
so
what I said.
talented.
The east side is just ridiculous,
Yeah.
the food.
Yeah.
So talented, yes. Anywhere else?
And in Taro, we have such a good little block. Like I can throw a stone and like land in some of the best places in town to eat. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
lucky.
it's true.
Yeah.
That's funny you say Antero because he is also, they came in here to talk about this Chef's Table event.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah. And they're in, Ian, I believe, from Antero. He's involved, and so is Taco, and
Cool.
with a whole lineup of other talented chefs.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah, any others? There's a
Laundrette.
Laundry.
Yeah.
I need to throw a South Austin one in the mix. Odd Duck. I had
Odd
a
Duck.
great meal there on Tuesday night.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
they're
cool.
fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And-
many good places to eat here. We're spoiled.
We are totally spoiled.
Oh my gosh.
So you've been in Austin like for how long now? Because you said 2011, but you went to Japan. How long have you been in here?
Well, I moved here by way of New Orleans in 2005.
2005.
So coming up on 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with all these restaurants like we're talking about, what do you think of the change we've seen?
Man, I remember
yourself.
when, when the place that's now Elizabeth Street was Bolden Creek
Oh, was
Cafe.
it?
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh,
but
man.
they moved down.
Oh, yeah. They moved down the street and made it built it out into a real restaurant. But man, I remember when it was just a little hole in the wall coffee shop with a couple of panini presses.
Yeah.
It's been cool to see the city grow up and I think get a lot more draw, for example, draw talent in.
Yeah.
Jess and Todd from Lenoir, in the time that I've been here, they moved back from New York and where they were working in, some of the best restaurants and open up their places. So it's been really cool to see, a lot of people who've gone off and learned interesting things and really developed amazing talent come back and pour that into the Austin culinary scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And even from 2011 to now, we've seen tons of changes.
Tons.
I feel like in the last 3 years, we've seen probably it's escalating.
I feel like it's a blessing and a curse because personally, I wasn't going to mention this. I don't even know if I told you this before, Leanne, but I have worked at, I think, 4 places now that are no longer existing.
Oh, yeah. In Austin?
Yeah, in Austin. 2 of them were fine dining. And I just feel like, people were getting away from going somewhere and ordering an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert and moving toward small plates and more casual dining.
Very trendy. And we're all going with the trends for it.
Yeah. I feel like we've seen so many fine dining restaurants here in Austin that haven't survived.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit startling. It's a little bit scary. I feel like it's really, really challenging to create something where there's demand and then to maintain that demand, for years when there's a new shiny restaurant opening 2 blocks down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge that a lot of restaurateurs are facing is how do we keep up the momentum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started to have my own thoughts on this because we've talked a little bit about how there's not a lack of fine dining in Austin, and that you're attesting to that too. But we had ironically back-to-back country clubs, UT Golf Course, and then the day before was Spanish Oaks, where they both do fine dining, but it's for members only.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, there is fine dining, but you have to go be a member at a golf club and pay a huge premium.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what we're talking about for fine dining. You want to go to a restaurant.
Right.
Well, what do we have?
There's still
Trulux?
a few. Yeah. I was going to say Jeffrey's.
You could type Perry's. He was here earlier today, which I usually don't do 2 of these in a day. But Chef Juan was from, and he classifies that as fine dining.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wink.
What about Fixes? Is that? No?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Fix. Trulux. I'm not sure where else.
Uchi and Uchiko.
Yeah, but those are still those small bites, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
But so good.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Maddie's yet.
I go there. Have I? I'm not. No, I haven't been there. Not to eat.
I've heard good things.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of people here now.
Yeah.
And a lot of big things coming up. Right down the street from you guys is that Domain kind of Mueller thing that's going up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've mentioned the Apple campus. They already have one, and they're opening a new one. You've probably heard about this.
Yeah.
It's 4 times. If you've ever been up there, I've heard it's going to be 4 times the size of the one that's there.
No way.
Yeah. Have you seen the one that's there already?
No, but
It's huge.
I've heard that it's gigantic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a city.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, we've got just a lot of people coming here. The city's going to change. It's on a escalating course here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah. We're excited to feed them all.
Yeah, and there you go. That is what's good because it attracts talent and more people to eat. Mm-hmm. Right?
It's true. They got to eat.
So let me just randomly ask you guys this: do you have a essential toolkit that you guys bring? Like a knife roll or something that's in there?
I just keep everything at the kitchen.
Well,
now.
yeah.
It's so nice not to have to schlep things around anymore now that we have a home base, which
Sure.
is amazing.
Sure. Well, okay, then let me rephrase that. What are some essential, things that you have to have in your kitchen at home at Bento Picnic? Just some favorite tools you use.
Man, one of the best investments that I made last year. Have you ever heard of the Magic Pan? It's a Japanese, a pretty recent development in Japan, and they only sell them domestically, so you can't get an international order of it yet. But luckily enough, because I have friends living in Japan, they ordered some for Bento Picnic, and then brought them over to the U.S. for us. It's the thinnest designed in existence cast iron pan. And so it's very lightweight. It has natural nonstick properties and is going to last. It's going to outlive me. It's very durable. And I'm so excited to come away from having to use nonstick surfaces in our frying pans because, they don't do well at high heat and, the stuff from the pan gets into the food. And so to be able to alternatively have these, cast iron pans that actually instill, health-giving property into the food and have that nonstick property to it. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So, and it also must heat quicker being
So
thinner.
fast. Wow. Yeah. It's phenomenal. So
It's called the Magic Pan.
the magic pan. You have to. I'll bring you some literature on it. We should start selling those.
Yeah.
The Magic Pan?
Yeah.
Well, if you can, can you?
We'll each bring just 10 back on our respective
there you
trips
go.
to Japan and sell them at the shop.
Well, it sounds amazing.
I better get a bigger suitcase.
Better get bigger. Oh, yeah. What about you for tools? Sorry.
This is kind of silly, but I have these really tiny spatulas at home that are all different colors,
Where'd you score those?
and I love them.
Yeah.
Well, Williams Sonoma sells some. I think these were actually a gift.
Okay.
Yeah, from a gig that I worked. The host of this party gave
Okay,
me
just gave them to you?
Yeah. She just gave us these cute little spatulas and was like, "Thank you so much."
So what do you use those for?
So I use them for when I blend something, and you're trying to get the stuff out of the blender, but you need a tiny little spatula
There
to
you
get
go.
around those blades,
There you go.
like in the bottom of a Vitamix.
Pretty useful. Because
Yeah.
that's a tricky part to get out of.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of
They're-
waste happens there.
They're awesome. They're good, and they're real
you go.
cute because they're just pink and green and
Yeah.
red and yellow.
Sure.
Yeah, they're my fave.
Oh, I'm intrigued by both. I mean, the cast iron, that could be super cool. And what's cool about that is, it develops the flavor, and you guys just keep it rocking and rolling over there. And 10 years from now, it's going to, be its own thing.
Yeah.
And then that's very useful, especially if you like smoothies or something. Because there's always that one part that you just can't stand that you can't get out.
Right. Or even sauces, dressings. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
anything,
just
right?
useful to get in there.
Right. So you're a fan of the Vitamix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a Vitamix XL.
XL, is that newer one, or is it just a
No,
big?
it's really big.
Yeah.
It's Big Mama.
Yeah.
Do you ever make the, a soup or something where you spin it for so long that it actually heats it in there? Have you tried that?
Yeah, I have.
Really?
Yeah, it
Because I
works.
haven't
It
run
works.
I haven't run into a lot of people. I've seen it done in a demonstration
Oh, yeah.
with I was maybe tomato and basil, and she just let it spin, and we had tomato. I was like, I'm going to do that all the time, and
Right.
I've never done it. Just use it for smoothies and sauces and whatnot.
Yeah.
Grinding up remote controls if you need to.
Grinding. Don't
I
tell
think
me
that's what they
been
do in
done.
some of the demos.
No
I've
kidding?
heard that that's been a demo.
That's interesting.
I don't
would-
know if that's real.
Yeah, they take out the batteries. I hope, right?
Hopefully.
My goodness. That now I want to know if that's how they
Well, then they sell them to you refurbished. So
is that right? I don't know.
they're
But
just
those-
they're really miraculous machines.
They
They
are.
can grind
They're-
anything.
They still have. So is the XL commercial?
Yes.
It's a commercial product.
It is.
Can it average consumer buy it?
Sure. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a 7 years warranty, which is
so good.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
And they have such good customer service, I've recently discovered.
Okay, why did you discover that?
Because one of my machines needed a repair. And I was like,
What was it though?
one of the Vitamixes.
No. What needed to be repaired on it?
Oh, I think it was like a 6-year-old machine, and it was just really starting to get pretty worn down, and it would quit pretty quickly into blending something. And you never really look forward to having to call a 1-800 number and get something repaired, even if it is under warranty. It's just going to take time and da-da-da-da-da. But it was such a pleasant conversation. I was like, oh, maybe I'll just call them and chat with them.
They probably felt the same way about you, Leanne.
Could be true.
They hung up and they were like, "That lady was so sweet."
I'm just going to call them next time I'm a little lonely and be...
It's like hell. Go for it. Is that how the XL came to be, though?
I found out about I didn't even know the XL existed until I was visiting with Chef Brad from the Carillon over at the AT&T Center at NUT's campus. Brad Turner. Oh, yeah, you got to know him.
Well, I've been to AT&T. Is he there now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's their executive chef.
He's new over there, right?
He's been working up in the ranks there for years. So
Okay.
he's been there a while, but he's, I think, just recently been promoted to their exec.
Because I know the chef just left. He was from San Antonio. I don't know. These guys, a lot of guys rotate in and out for new things.
Yeah, but what's so cool about the Carillon is literally every month they just get a budget for money for investing in new things for their kitchen.
Oh, well, then I need to go talk to them about their payment method with us.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool.
They have a lot of toys.
Yeah, it's a huge operation. You
Go
been
sell
in
them some knives, Jason.
Yeah.
No, we go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, wow, okay. We kind of went off course there a little bit, but that's all good. There is no course here. So, anything else you guys want to touch on? What I want to ask you is, have you heard of Austin Dames?
Oh, yeah, I'm a part of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you're not, I don't know what they're doing. But so tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a philanthropic organization.
Okay.
Made up of women in the food and beverage industry.
And
it's an international organization.
Okay.
And there's an Austin chapter.
So I reached out, and I don't know much about, but I get the idea as when they're like highlighting somebody. And I was sort of like offering the mic, and I mean, I could be involved, of course, but like even if like once a month or once every other month, there's like an Austin Dames kind of like podcast with whoever's being featured. Because is that how it is? Somebody gets featured in Austin?
Well, it's really an organization designed so that the women leaders in the food and beverage community can help support the growth of the industry and support newcomers to the industry. So there's like grants and scholarships that we give away, and fundraisers that we do, and like charitable activities.
Yeah.
And there are, kind of social events too that usually we, take turns hosting. But I'm a new member. I just became a member within the year. So I'm also kind of figuring out what all there is to it. Yeah.
Well, as a member, I'm offering the mics to you guys whenever, monthly or once of every other month or something, to just come on and like, I don't know, touch base about what you guys are working on.
Okay, awesome.
So that would be cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, and the are you a part of that at all?
No, I'm not. I think you have to be nominated for it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, there's a nomination process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it seems like a really cool group of badass lady chefs.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Britt,
We're proud of Leanne for being in.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. That's cool.
Thanks.
When did they reach out to you about that? How did that work?
Sonia from Eden East nominated me. So I guess she's like my big sister. It's like a sorority.
Sure.
She's your big. It's just big.
She's my big.
That's what, just big? No sister. Why?
I don't know. It's
Sorority
just the
speak.
sorority lingo.
Okay. It's my big. I like that more too. All right, there you go.
So, yeah, and there's an event coming up next week at Franklin Barbecue called You Grill Girl.
Grill Girl.
And
Awesome.
it's a bunch of women chefs doing a cook-off kind of thing. Like,
Are you involved with that?
I'm attending it.
Okay.
It's a fundraiser event.
I mean, I want to ask you guys of like charities. Are you guys gotten involved with anything?
I mean, at Bento Picnic, we're involved in Meal Share.
Okay.
So it's a buy one, give one program. So when you come to Bento Picnic and you buy a curry bowl, for every curry bowl that we sell, we give funds to the capital area food bank to feed youth,
Okay.
feed a youth in need.
Okay. And that's
Yeah.
called Meal Share,
Meal share, yeah.
and it's local.
Started in Canada, and they
Oh.
have an Austin chapter. Yeah,
Okay.
that's doing really cool work in in the area and partnering with local organizations like the Capital Area Food Bank.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I know you have a husband at home. Family for you? Yeah.
I have a sister who lives really nearby, and
Okay.
and her husband and niece, and yeah, so I get to spend a lot of family time with them. But I'm not married,
Not married. And
no kids.
yeah, you have families in Houston still?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
my little brother who is a doctor now. It's kind of scary when your kid brother's a doctor.
I'd definitely be scared if my brother was a doctor. Especially like, what kind of doctor is he?
A pediatrician.
Yeah, might be okay there.
Oh,
I don't know. You'd hope so, right?
Yeah, he does an amazing job, but like, you know,
You got to give your brother a hard time.
yeah, you got to. But you know, he's an amazing resource. Like one of our cooks,
that's what I was just thinking of.
yeah, one of our cooks, like kind of almost fell over because she was in a lot of pain all of a sudden one day in the kitchen, and I didn't know what else to do, so I called Nathan, my kid brother, and you know, was talking him through like what happened and translating what she told me she was feeling, and he like gave me a couple of different options of like what it could be, and he actually on his first like guess at it guessed right. It happened to be kidney stones, and
Wow.
and he told, you know, he relayed what he would do, and so she followed his advice and was able to get it taken care of. Yeah, he's a good guy to have on my speed dial for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my kid brother, I have two little brothers actually. One's up in Virginia, but one's in Houston, and as well as my folks are
Yeah.
both still in Houston.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Gorgeous area, right?
Oh yeah,
What's he up to?
man. Well, he's married. His wife's from Virginia, and they're living up there, and they're about to have a baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys, any thoughts of starting a little family?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot.
I am. Right. Well, he told me to ask.
Yeah,
No.
you know, we talk about it, we think about it. We're no spring chickens, so you know, we got to sort of shit or get off the pot, so to
Well,
speak.
my advice for that is don't think like that. You know, just,
No.
just do your thing.
It's
Don't-
true. It's true. Yeah, but I hope that's in the cards for us eventually. Yeah.
And he's in the industry. You guys are in the industry, so it's something to consider. You know
Right.
what I mean? And in that vein, do you guys ever think about like a plan B? I mean, obviously, you don't want to think about a plan B as a restaurant owner, but is there anything else, like any passions that you might pursue, or maybe say, I'm kind of going to get out of the industry and try this? Like, I know you probably want to be an astronaut and a pilot, right? Something like that. Or am I wrong?
I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
I have a
okay.
20-year mortgage.
So no plan B. No plan B. There you go.
I do want Airbnb properties. Like, I want to get into that game.
Okay.
And I think it could just be good, like, passive income.
Yeah. Jump on that now, right? Because this town's, going crazy.
Right.
That's probably very good for like South by and ACL and all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have anything?
I don't necessarily want to get out of the industry. I always thought, like, since I was a kid, I've literally, you guys never even stayed in a bed and breakfast, but I've always thought that would be super cool to own like a really well curated small bed and breakfast with just like delicious food. Obviously breakfast only, but I just think it's like the complete picture of hospitality.
Yeah.
And I love that about it.
There you go. That's our
So-
next joint venture. We're
Yeah.
gonna have
Maybe
amazing Airbnbs that serve breakfast.
Exactly.
Hey, we'll have to bleep that out so nobody just runs off and takes that.
Exactly.
That's
It's a $1 million idea.
I like that bed and breakfast idea. That's cool. I believe there's bed and breakfasts here. I should
Oh, yeah.
go.
There are. I need to check some out.
There you
I
go.
need to start taking some staycations.
Well,
exactly.
did you guys do anything for your honeymoon?
We actually eloped in New York City, and then we took the train to see my family in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So that was like a little mini vacay, but the Japan trip is going to be the
okay.
real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long are you guys there for?
Well, we're going to Japan for about 11 days, and then we tacked on a couple days in Hawaii on the way back because I was like, it's right on the way, sort of.
Have you been to Hawaii?
Never.
No, I've not. Have you been there?
I have. Yeah, I was really fortunate to go as a kid. My parents took us, which we were such little brats. We didn't appreciate it fully, but I'm so excited to go back.
Well, did you though? In retrospect, I mean,
We did.
I'm sure you like.
So I remember on the island of Maui, there's this really long, winding road called the Road to Hana, and it's really special. It's beautiful, scenic views, cliffs, beaches, like almost tropical scenes too. But it's super windy, and we were like whining in the back of the car, and we're like complaining about my dad's driving. So, my parents were probably like, oh my gosh, why did we bring them?
Right.
But there was also
naturally
parts of it
parents.
that were awesome and that we did appreciate. So
Yeah.
hopefully we weren't that bad.
Yeah. But that's what all parents think.
Right.
Why did we have
Why did
these
we
children?
bring these guys? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm attracted to the water and the ocean and stuff like that, like many people are. But Hawaii will be gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think after like in Japan, we want to do and see as much as possible in the time that we have there. So I feel like Hawaii will be the true relaxation period after we've just had like sensory overload and all this new sights and sounds and smells and tastes to kind of chill out for a couple days. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So that's the /honeymoon.
Yeah.
I was going to say try a bed and breakfast, but that sounds way better. So go with that.
I got to do a bed and breakfast sometime though.
Yeah, no.
For
Go to
sure.
a couple here and then
For
get
research.
an idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
research. There you go, research. So anything else you guys want to touch base on?
Oh man. I just want to ask you a lot of questions.
Oh, no.
let's turn the
I know
tables.
you
What
do the
got?
question asking here, but I see your certificate over here from Le Cordon Bleu.
Yeah.
So what's your background with the culinary arts?
Well, really, I was not cooking. I just had an interest in food. So I was cooking at home and like working in a warehouse. And I was thinking about getting married. And I was like, well, I could do this. And eventually, without ever being in a restaurant, went to Le Cordon Bleu
All
in
right.
Chicago
Cool.
with no skill set except for what I had read in cookbooks and learned there. And went through the course there. And of course, at the time, I was a vegan, which didn't go over very well with French chefs and
Wow.
dollops of butter and cream. And I got a very hard time for that. But
Did you taste the food?
No, and that's why I got a very hard time about it. And kind of when I look back, I'm like, yeah, probably should have, we're paying for a certificate, tried it. But I was very into health myself, and that lifestyle of eating vegan or vegetarian, it was vegan, but just kind of fit what I was into. I was very into fitness and running, and it was not something that I was going to eat. But I got a lot of shit for it.
I can imagine.
You
But-
should have come to the Natural Epicurean with us.
Oh,
That would have been different. Yeah, and I was so into it that I was almost militant in the fact that I was always thinking. I was like, I don't understand why it's none of this is health focused. There's no. It's all like throw another dollop of butter in, and, which now I'm for. But I've steered off that course. That has to do with a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But and then so that's the certificate for you.
Cool. Yeah, it can be a challenging path for sure, but also rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I would, because I had dreams. I mean, I wanted to go cook in New Orleans, and the idea of just going and staging, and I'll get pans thrown at me. I was for all that. I wanted to get the experience, but I've got something better. But and then I also had this like, I don't know if fetish is the word, but like I got way more into knives than cooking.
Cool.
So that balanced itself out.
Yeah.
It's cool what you're doing now because you're still close to the industry.
Yeah.
You get a taste of it without necessarily having those same hours and
No, I'm fortunate. I get the weekends off, which is unheard of a lot of times in the industry, and then I get to, if I need to take care of something, I can just do it. I don't really kind of making my own rules, I guess.
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, it works out. So there you go. That's if you wanted to know. Yeah. But it went so far. I say it still comes in useful. I feel like I use the degree every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a good knowledge to have.
Any more questions?
Favorite restaurants?
Oh Lord, that's a good. See, I'm the restricted to like where I go all the time with my daughter.
Right.
Ends up being like P. Terry's, or we like Chewy's. Nobody says Chewy's here. I think it's because I grew up in Chicago with nothing like Chewy's. That now when I come here, I'm like, wow, Chewy's is the jam.
Okay.
Just go there. But as far as like, and I think I've mentioned this before, is like Eberly is ridiculous. Yeah, it's very, very good. And then,
Such a beautiful space too.
yeah, I mean, mine are cop outs like Uchi.
Yeah,
it's
but
so good. I know.
You can't argue with delicious.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Yeah.
But I'll have to come up with. I have to do some more thing about my favorite spots.
All right, I'm gonna go to some bed and breakfast. You're gonna try some new spots.
New spots, yeah. And I do that if I'm on here. Like I went to Culinary Dropout, and I go there all the time. And I finally ate there, and it was good.
Cool.
But I have to say it on here. Like I'm gonna go to Home Slice.
That's right.
And that means I'll report back.
Yep.
But I tell everybody, you guys are welcome to come back here whenever you want to. Bring whoever you want. We have an extra seat here.
Cool.
But yeah, if anything cool happens, or the Austin Dames thing,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, bring that up
Okay.
to the committee or however it works. I'm unfamiliar, so you guys are welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This has been fun.
Yeah, definitely. So Bento Picnic, East Side. Go get a smoothie across the street after you get a bento box, and there you go.
Come see us.
Meet Leanne, meet Leah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Jason.
Yeah.